Ja, moin Leute, hier ist der Fu und wir spielen weiter Vampyr. Folge 13. Und wir müssen uns jetzt den Journalisten und den Dichter mal vorknöpfen. Hier ist im Moment schon wieder echt viel Gesabbel. Das ist ein Priester, scheint mir da oben. Das.
Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick. Though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Okay.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Okay.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed, or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Denn eben nicht. Schöpfung, warum kann ich ihr das jetzt nicht geben?
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Okay. Ich verstehe nicht, warum ich die nicht heilen kann. Habe ich doch eins von.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
Okay. Messen besiegen 4. Krass.
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly. But it is not your concern, Doctor.
Okay.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
Ja. Weiter geht's. Aber das könnte doch der Dichter sein hier, oder?
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Tobias Whitaker.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
Wir mögen keine Krankenschwester.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
Sind ihnen Verwandte geblieben?
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Wohin haben Sie
Where
ihn
did you
gesandt?
send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
Zum Predigen durch die Nacht geschickt.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Ja, ja, die Gläubigen. Steht schlecht um
What
mich.
do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Ja, aber
Ah,
nur
ja.
ein Fakten, ja.
But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition.
Okay.
I have heard enough for tonight. Goodbye.
So. Wo ist der Kollege denn jetzt hier? Na das?
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to
Das
Watcher.
ist er doch.
But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Ja, eine geheime Apotheke.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
Meine Schwester ist in Machenschaften verwickelt.
I'm afraid one of the nurses from the Pembroke Hospital may be involved with unsavory activities.
Ah, could it be Dorothy Crane?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He has no
Keine
relatives at all?
Verwandten?
No. Except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
He
Ach so,
never
ja.
goes out.
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Okay. Der hat auch Erschöpfung. Warum kann ich die nicht? Ich verstehe das nicht. Keine Zeitung berichtet über die
Why are the
Epidemie.
newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
It's a disgrace. People are left to die alone. No one is properly informed of the risks.
These are bad times indeed. So much for the glorious British Empire.
Was tun sie nach
What is a
Sonnenuntergang
journalist
hier?
doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
Riskieren ihr Leben für die Wahrheit.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite
Sieht sich
honorable.
das Volk dafür?
But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
That science is unable to explain the facts doesn't mean there is no rational explanation.
I confess, I share your point of view, Doctor.
Ist hier keine Arbeit für mich drin?
Christina Popper claims she sells her body because she can't find any other work. Do you believe her?
Of course I do. Her story is exactly what I want my readers to understand. We live in an intolerant and divided nation.
Do you think things will ever change, Mr. Darby?
I believe the situation can only improve. And now that women can vote, I'm convinced things will change.
Okay. Kommt doch jetzt auch wieder was freigeschaltet, oder? Nee.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby.
Na gut,
Farewell.
dann wollen wir mal hinter die Kirche. War ich hier schon? Ja, da brüllt wieder irgendwas. Hier gibt es was zu fighten, glaube ich, oder? Yep, da dreht schon wieder einer durch. Bam. So, hier den Flock wieder nehmen. Heilen. Und weiter geht's. Da haben wir. Zack. Stirb, du Sau. Finde ihn. Finde ihn. Ach, den haben sie angeknabbert hier, wa? Patronen. Sehr schön. So. Da geht's weiter. Dann schauen wir mal, wo es hier weitergeht. Achso, zwei Eingänge. Einmal auf der Seite und einmal auf dieser Seite. Das ist der Friedhof.
Oh.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
Okay. Wir den auch noch mal ausfragen.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
Erkältung. Wir sehen 3. Okay. Gedanken
What are
über
your
die Lage in
thoughts on
London.
the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Wirklich still? Wirklich? Ziemlich
Yes.
einzigartige Sichtweise.
The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Dem könnte
Are
hier
you
Gefahr
aware that
sein.
your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear doctor.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
Na gut. Dann kommen wir mal gleich zur Sache hier. Oder was haben wir noch persönliche Fragen?
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir, Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much, and that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Okay.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
In what way exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, The barren smiles and the arid hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
Na gut. Also Dorothy Crane. Was weißt du da drüber?
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu. Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
Okay.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Jetzt. Finde die Anwohner von Whitechapel, finde den Briefkasten und den Brief.
Good evening, Mr. Nethercott.
And good evening to you too, my good sir. Can I be of any help?
Viel weiter geholt wird mir jetzt ja auch nicht, ne?
I'll leave you alone, sir.
So, hier muss ich jetzt noch den Brief und da ist die Blumen. Ein kleiner Blumenstrauß, ein Gutschein für eine kostenlose medizinische Untersuchung ist zwischen den Blumen versteckt. Okay. Das war das, was ich suchen musste? Ein Blumenstrauß, ein Gutschein.
Good
Das ist die,
evening,
die
miss.
nicht reden kann, oder?
I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly.
Hä? Ich kann doch gar nicht reden, oder?
Tell me about Richard Nethercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Kapelle.
Ich weiß, dass du Schwester Dorothy
Kapelle, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary. A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever. I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it?
EP.
Very well. Goodbye then.
Na gut. Sind überall Sachen drin. Ich muss hier irgendwo bisschen. Da ist. Warte. Da, genau. Darius Prescos Brief. Meine lieben Kinder, es tut mir so leid, dass ihr einige Monate lang nichts von mir gehört habt. Die Lage in London war schwierig. Ich weiß, es klingt vielleicht egoistisch und töricht, wenn ihr meine Kinder noch in einem Land lebt, das vom Krieg heimgesucht wird. aber auch hier in England tobt ein Krieg. Ein Krieg gegen Armut und Ungerechtigkeit. Diesen Krieg will ich trotz meines fortgeschrittenen Alters führen. Deshalb schreibe ich euch heute, ich werde nicht nach Rumänien zurückkehren. Das bedeutet, ich sehe euch wahrscheinlich nicht wieder, bevor ich sterbe. Seid nicht traurig, meine Lieben. Ihr seid mittlerweile erwachsen und habt selbst Kinder. Ihr wisst, welche Opfer wir manchmal bringen müssen, um die Welt zu einem besseren Ort zu machen. Und dieses muss ich nun bringen, damit ich mich noch ein letztes Mal nützlich fühlen kann. Ich wünsche euch ein langes und glückliches Leben. Gebt meinen Enkeln einen Kuss von mir und vergesst nicht, dass euer Vater euch auch weiter ab der kalten Heimat liebt. Achso. Euer euch ewig liebender Vater Darius.
The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter. Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
Okay, jetzt können wir da wahrscheinlich rein. Wir wollen jetzt aber erstmal eben... Ne, ist verkehrt. Ins Versteck, weil... Jetzt nämlich schon wieder Schluss für diese Folge ist. Und ich würde sagen, ich gehe jetzt gleich nochmal ins Versteck und dann mache ich Schluss und verabschiede mich heute jetzt für heute von euch. Oder für diese Folge von euch. Und wie immer über einen Daumen hoch oder ein Abo würde ich mich sehr freuen. Und auf Wiedersehen.